Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpier.
Hello, Xbox. Nope, that's not the right show.
Nope, that's the other one. That's the other one. It's on Game Pass right now. We're in our third and final episode of this current season here. We're going to talk about 2017's Baby Driver, a film that you have already seen, correct?
Yes, I have seen it at least twice.
Oh, a repeat. I have not seen this. I think this is one of the two Edgar Wright movies I haven't seen. This
At
and
World's End being the other one.
yeah, at World's End. Thank you for. Like, I was thinking of the world, the end of the world of the end. Nope, that's not it. And I love Edgar Wright. I mean, I'm an elder millennial, so I feel like we're
Wait, no. At World's End is the Pirates of the Caribbean. The World's End is
Okay.
the Edgar Wright one. Not to be confused with the post-apocalyptic rapture movie by the Hollywood stoners.
Right. I feel like since we're elder millennials, I think it's like we're contractually obligated to like Edgar Wright, so of course I do. And I've wanted to see this movie for a while. It's just one that I never got around to it. And then by the time we started this show, we're like, well, obviously we're going to watch Baby Driver at some point, so why would I watch it instead of turning it into hashtag content?
Yeah, so that is part of the problem with being producers of such content. This is the End is the Hollywood stoner movie about the rapture.
Thank you.
It's three films all with a very similar name. I think that's part of the problem of what we do, quote unquote, is it's like, I'm not going to watch that because I like. A bunch of people asked me if I was going to go see the new Indiana Jones movie in theaters. It's like, no, because I haven't seen the previous ones.
Right.
And it's like, which is exactly the reaction that that
right.
Usually,
how could you?
Especially for Americans. I'm just saying, especially for Americans.
Exactly.
But it's really hard to explain to them. Yeah, I'm not going to sit down and watch all all of the previous Indiana Jones movies,
right?
Just to see this one because I have a show for that.
That's right. And now it's funny because when we started podcasting, it was a lot of like, what the hell is a podcast? And it's like, well, I always used to say, it's like 2007, 2008. I'd say like, oh, it's like a radio show, but it's on the internet and you can kind of listen to it whenever. And people are like, stupid. What are you doing? That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And nowadays they're like, oh, you have a movie podcast. Oh, this white guy with a beard has a movie podcast. Yeah. Everybody, did you hear? Oh, wow. Ooh.
Wait, did you just do the Jurassic Park meme? Is that what you just did?
No, what? Maybe. But it's so funny how the pendulum has swung all the way the other way, where it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're saving it for your little movie podcast. It's like, I am. Shut up.
Yeah, Spotify will pay us $4.6 billion for this at some point.
Me and my bank account, we're ready. Yeah. Anyways, Baby Driver.
Yep.
The other reason why I don't.
Also, wait, hold on. You said you've only not seen two Edgar Wright movies. I'm assuming have you seen Last Night in Soho?
I did not know that was a movie, so now I have three.
The Sparks Brothers?
I have four now.
Okay.
Looks like we got a season. I don't want to belabor the point.
The new one?
What's that?
Grindhouse, the new one?
Some of it, I think. Anyways, I don't want to belabor the point, but this movie has a controversial cast in hindsight.
So let's talk about this. This movie is beloved. One might say. People who like Edgar Wright movies have basically said, "Yo, this might be his magnum opus. This might be the greatest piece that he has made." The reason I have seen this twice is at the insistence of friend of the show, Mackie. Because I hadn't seen it, and then when it came out, Mackie and I were texting backwards and forwards, and I'm pretty sure he sent me about 4 walls of texts about how great this movie is.
Right.
It's like, I guess I better go watch.
Right. That
Baby
level
Driver
of devotion to texting sort of inspires something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it also helps that, like, Mackie is a quote-unquote critic. Like, he has the...
Yeah.
We're just a couple of schlubs. He has
We are content creators.
Yes, he has the eye, the feel, the vibe
Right.
for, like, camera styles and that kind of stuff. So he can point stuff out in a movie that I will never see.
We're not even in the same ballpark.
No, I don't have the lexicon for it. I just
Right.
don't. Like, it's not my... I don't have the language to describe what I'm seeing. It might be like, ooh, make feel good.
That's right.
Like,
ooh, camera
how I do
move,
it.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Hashtag family. Like, that's,
also,
that's how I
hashtag
describe...
Edgar Wright.
Yes. That's how I describe movies, whereas, like,
Right.
people like Mackie who have that background, like, they're able to do it in such a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I guess I better go see it. I'm not going to tell you how I felt about the movie,
Sure.
because obviously we're about to watch the
You
movie.
don't open the show with a showstopper.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie was widely praised for its stellar performances across the board.
Right.
Which then, as you said, became problematic very soon after this movie came out.
Right. Because
in one person specifically, we should say.
Because we're watching... I mean, we watch movies from... There's no... We're not saying, like, oh, I'm not going to watch this movie because it was made before 1983. Like, there's nothing like that. So we've watched plenty of stuff, and we will watch plenty of stuff that is
has problems.
Is of its time. And there's language or content or whatever that's kind of the era, and it's like, all right, it was a different time. It was 1975, whatever. But for this movie...
I mean, to be honest, like, we all have to live up to the fact that we all have movies that we adore that come from bad people sometimes.
Exactly.
I am a huge fan of the original X-Men trilogy, even the third one, as questionable as it is.
Right.
Bryan Singer is associated with those, who is problematic is a polite way.
Yeah.
Of putting things.
He has a controversy section of his Wikipedia page. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, we are talking about Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Who has sort of a laundry list of alleged issues, stemming, coming to light pretty quickly after this movie came out. And, I don't think has necessarily sullied the legacy of this movie. I think a lot of people are like, Baby Driver's great. It has Kevin Spacey in it. Don't worry. Just,
Yeah, that's the caveat that you put on it.
Yeah, there's a little asterisk on it of like, this movie's really great. It's got a guy that allegedly did some pretty gross stuff in here. So I don't want us to brush past that, but I don't want us to spend like 2 hours saying Kevin Spacey's supposedly a bad guy. It's just an element of this movie is this dude is in it as like one of the last things he was in before Hollywood was like, yeah, man, you gotta go, dude. What the hell? So,
as an aside,
yeah.
If we happen to praise a performance of a known wrong'un, that is not us corroborating or acknowledging what he did was correct.
Right.
Or right, or good.
Yeah.
That is never the case with this kind of thing. Someone can be an incredible actor and still be a terrible person.
It's true.
Someone can be an incredible performer and director and still be a terrible person.
Right.
We will rightly call out that kind of thing as and when we can.
Yeah. 100%. I feel like the rest of the legacy of this movie... I was thinking about this leading up to us recording the first part of this episode of, through cultural osmosis, what have I picked up from this movie? Especially with it being so beloved and being like a real feather in Edgar Wright's cap that already has a lot of feathers in it. And I think the thing that I am the most surprised about is even Twitter was at its height when Baby Driver came out. There
Uh-huh.
still wasn't that much stuff coming out. It was one of those movies that people were saying, you just need to go see it. I don't want to tell you anything about it. You like Edgar Wright? You need to go see it. You don't? Go see it. You might like Edgar Wright at this point. So, like, I feel like it's, from the outside looking in, one of its legacies is the expert editing combined with musical flourishes, and those two kind of being hand in hand. But
the Edgar Wright special, yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know specifically what that means in this movie, because it's one of those few movies that, like, 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road, now it's 7 years down the road, not to date this episode. But even that far, I still haven't seen that much of this movie other than, oh, you haven't seen it? You need to go fix that. And I think that's kind of cool.
I think that this movie is one of those movies that it's hard to put into words, or it's hard for me to put into words at least. You get moments and scenes in movies that are the quote-unquote spoiler fodder. The first Aliens movie is a prime example of this, that we covered on this show. That moment with Ash is, if you don't know, you don't know. But if it's one of those things, like, let's say that comes out these days, the first thing people are going to say is like, oh no.
Well, the big twist of this movie was great. Yeah.
Ash is an android, or whatever. You know, that's the thing that they're going to say. I think the beauty of this movie is there isn't a quote-unquote twist to spoil. It's just a story that gets told.
Right.
People might say, oh yeah, this sequence is great, or that sequence is good. I really like the intro sequence is I'm pretty sure is one of Mackie's favorite pieces of cinema. Like, is the opening to this movie. And I like the fact that it doesn't have that thing where it's just like, yeah, you can spoil it in 2 sentences. You really can't. Right. Because it's a big story told over the actual runtime of the movie.
Right. And there's no like 30-second clip where you're like, here's where the movie changes. It's like, not really. That's pretty cool.
So, like, plot-wise, you don't know much, is what I'm getting from this.
What my understanding is that the main character is named Baby, and he's a getaway driver for some sort of crime. You don't get away from, like, a farm because you just chickens laid eggs or whatever. And, like, that's literally all I know. He's a crazy driver, and there's a bunch of music.
You can logically jump to who his boss is based on the cast that you know in this movie.
Okay.
Speaking of, do you know any cast other than that one?
I know John Hamm is in this. I don't know how much. I really like John Hamm, though, so I hope a lot. I feel like after Mad Men, he hasn't been in a big role that I've seen him in, which is kind of a bummer, because he's really good. I know noted dog owner John Barenthal is in this as well, who, I don't know.
Noted dog owner good guy.
Yeah.
John Barenthal.
I don't know the last...
If people listening, if you haven't heard John Barenthal talk about his dogs, you should really go listen to him talk about his dogs. He is so loving when he talks about his dogs, especially the fact that they're mostly pit bulls.
I don't know what I have seen him in recently, though.
John Barenthal?
Yeah.
What do you know him from? And don't say Ghost Recon Breakpoint, whatever that second one is.
Oh, God, he was in that, yeah. Wasn't he?
Dude, he came out with his dogs on the E3 stage.
That's right. Noted dog lover. He was in the Punisher TV show? Question mark?
He played Frank Castle.
Okay. That might be about it. He's one of those dudes that, like, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but he's like 8th or 9th on the cast list because he's in there for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. He shoots a dude with a shotgun, and they're like, hell yeah, man, good job. And then he's gone from the movie.
Okay. What's the other thing you've seen him in? In all honesty, 100% honesty, the thing that I realized he was a good actor in, and probably his biggest role, even though he's only in it for a season.
Oh Lord, I don't know. I don't remember. God, I've probably seen it too.
He was Shane in The Walking Dead. He's Rick's partner in the first season of The Walking Dead.
Okay,
The guy who's
of course
actually
the only season I've seen of The Walking Dead, the first one.
so
Okay.
the bad friend who's actually engaged in questionable activities with his wife.
Right.
That's Shane.
Okay. Okay. Man, that was a hell of a good season of that show. Man.
Dude. I watched that when I had COVID, because that's, of course, what you do when you have COVID.
Lean all the way into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you, that season's a good season.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I know anybody who's in this. I'm sure it'll have a couple of people that I'm like, oh yeah, they're in this. Great, yeah, sure. But I think that's all I know. Do you have any kind of parting words before we go watch the film?
I know with certain movies, I always say, okay, please, Boston, big screen. Please, Boston,
big screen, sound system, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't do sound system, headphones.
Right.
Like, big screen or not in this case. Like, watch it on your iPhone, whatever. Obviously, I would prefer big screen. Headphones, vitally important. A good sound setup is vitally important.
Right.
Before we sign off, though, what is your favorite Edgar Wright music moment?
Oh, maybe in oh no, I'm not gonna remember any of them names of the movies. The zombie one.
Shaun of the Dead.
Thank you. The Queen beatdown.
Don't Stop Me Now.
Yeah, that's one of the. It's not immediately obvious what it is until about halfway through the scene, and you're like, oh, all right, that's pretty good. That's I like that.
In all honesty, that might be my favorite one. I'm pretty sure he did one on Spaced that I absolutely adored, but it's been so long since I've seen Spaced that I can't even remember at this point. But the Don't Stop Me Now scene is fantastic. I think that might be my favorite. Are you gonna get a montage? Is the question.
I feel like probably like.
Wait, no.
What?
Wait. Best Edgar Wright musical sequence.
Oh,
it's the battles in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, dude.
Oh, I mean that movie.
We always forget that Scott Pilgrim is an Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I don't know, that whole movie is incredible music sequences, one after another. But I feel like any movie that has like a getaway driver seems like it's kind of primed for. Now the crew, is gelling, so now we're gonna. He
does it in everything, dude.
Yeah,
as well, like
5 or 6 getaway shots all at once.
But he doesn't do montages for the usual stuff. He doesn't do action montages. He does BS montages.
That's true.
His Shaun of the Dead montage is Shaun getting dressed in the morning. His Hot Fuzz montage is the paperwork that's getting done.
It's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. I wonder what weird thing he's going to have a montage for this time. Yeah. All right. Well, with all that being said, let's go watch the film.
Yup.
Welcome back. We're back. We've driven hither and yon. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Boy, is an Edgar Wright movie, huh? Yeah.
One might say this is definitely an Edgar Wright movie, yes.
Yeah. Man, that's a hell of an intro on this movie. I'm like struggling to figure out where to start with this movie, but I feel like you kind of start with the biggest part, which is just the intro of like one of the most bombastic like car
And
chases
it
and
doesn't
bank
even
robberies.
stop. Like that's my
No.
favorite part. Is like it goes straight from a car chase intro to a musical sequence intro
Mm-hmm.
to finally it starts talking some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a reason the Subaru is one of the best rally cars that ever existed. I'm
That's
just going to
right.
drop that bomb right here.
That's right.
Uh,
And you know, I one of the things that I think I was kind of surprised with this movie about is it isn't a car movie. Because I think that's an easy trap for like a getaway movie to fall into of like, oh my god, we managed to find this blah. I'm not a car guy, so like I don't 1967 blah 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 blah. Like there's
why did you pick 67? Out of
I
curiosity.
I don't know. Is it something
Okay.
from Gone in 60 Seconds? Maybe I don't know.
No, Supernatural is the 67 Impala.
Okay, there you go. But like I feel like so many of these car-based movies they fall into that trap that I understand of loving the car or there being this one car or the perfect getaway car, something like
The,
that.
the car lover season.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But like I really appreciate that this movie even in the intro, they're just tossing cars away and switching to another car. Like this car's too hot, we're getting another one. Here's a family
Uh-huh.
sedan. Whatever. It just needs
There's,
to be a car that
there's two
goes.
sedans.
Yeah, like it's kind of refreshing that it turned out to be as much as it is a car movie, it isn't a car movie.
Yes, it's very much a character movie and a story-based movie
Mm-hmm.
about things. Um, I need to ask, were there any
Yeah.
moments? So for the heists, I think we just specifically the car chase part of the heists, because that's something I love. We don't ever see the heists ever.
I love it. I love that so much. Like that's one of my favorite things. And, we've talked about it before about like if they talk
We
about the
talked in the
plan.
ocean season.
Yeah, like talk about the plan before they do it, the plan's going to go south. If they don't talk about it before they do it, then you get to see the plan and it goes off smoothly. But you kind of get both ways here of like they talk about the plan, they plan it, largely Baby gets to kind of regurgitate it. And then the plan goes off smoothly
Uh-huh.
sometimes. But like I really like that
It's
the
all from Baby's perspective. Like you see them
right.
going in, you see him start his music,
Yep.
you see little bits and pieces through the windows,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see the heist itself. You
Yeah.
never see the actual heist.
It's really smart, and I think it also feels kind of like efficient filmmaking. Like, why would you spend all of this money to do this big heist scene involving probably a ton of special effects and a ton of extras and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when you can just have them walk into a building, pew pew pew, bang bang bang, and then have them run back out of the building with
I
bags that
mean,
are heavier.
you say pew 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 bang bang bang, but what you actually mean is boom 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 ba ba ba,
That's
because all
right.
you see is Baby listening to whatever the musical choice he has picked for that
That's
thing
right.
is,
That's right.
doing his dance and his singing along in the car. Who Baby is not a great singer, and I love the
No.
fact that he doesn't care.
Well, and it's
Um,
such a cool intro to the character here with the opening heist of him sort of being lost in this music. And he's a getaway driver, but like whatever the stuff is that's happening, he's not really interested in because he has the perfect song and the perfect playlist that's timed perfectly for this heist. Like
mhm.
he's keeping on his schedule for the job that he needs to do, and the rest of the stuff is just that's not his problem. It's just happening.
Yep, it's really really good, and the fact that this is something that I appreciate a lot more because I paid a lot more attention to it in this in this watch through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything is timed to the music with no exceptions.
Yes.
Everything, the
Yeah.
windscreen wipers, the gunfire, like everything is
Yeah.
timed to the beat to perfection.
Because I think even on your first watch, most people are going to pick up the
The
gunfire stuff.
wipers, yes.
Because I think that's most gunfire in movies is just and then just, but the having it syncopated to the beat, especially to like the Queen stuff later, that has a very strange beat. Like that's a pretty obvious thing, but it took me a little while to notice the stuff like the windshield wipers too, which is just like it's such an interesting and almost natural feeling choice for this movie that you kind of gonna pay attention to it on the second viewing, like you said, but in the first viewing, you don't even notice it because it's just happening, and it quote unquote is happening to the beat.
I am very curious what came first, because this is 2017, so this might be the first one. So it wouldn't surprise me if this trailer for this movie, because I haven't seen the trailer in a long time, is cut to the music.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And I wonder if this is the first one that did that, and everyone else is like, damn, that's a really good idea. We should really do that from now on. Cool. Which is why every single trailer now has a soundtrack and is cut to the soundtrack.
Yeah, if they don't have
every one of them.
Like the sad minor key lady singing an 80s song, it's usually the like cut to a beat of some very popular song.
I'm gonna have to watch the trailer for this after this movie, after we finish recording.
I didn't even think about it because I don't watch the trailers beforehand because I haven't seen the movie. But
yeah, and if this movie has that, I'm okay placing the blame for modern Hollywood trailers on Baby Driver's feet.
Yeah, this is patient zero for trailers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this whole intro is incredible, and I the rest of the movie sort of doesn't struggle to live up to it, but it sets such a high watermark right
so
away.
Fast.
Yeah,
this movie is so pacey in everything that it does,
and it's such a good showpiece for Baby being the best getaway driver, because as we find out later, there are reasons why he's the only recurring member of this team, but you can see from the intro of just like, well, how are you going to get better than this dude that should have crashed into 15 cop cars in a 2-minute getaway drive, and they got away safely? Like,
what is your favorite stunt or two from the heist number one's getaway? I got two I want to call out. I imagine one of them at least is on your thing.
Why don't you go? Because I'm struggling to remember some of the specifics of this.
Okay, one. The alleyway drift backwards around, drift sideways around the garbage truck.
Oh my god,
he brings
so cool.
the tail end of the car behind and then swings around the other direction.
Sitting there by myself watching this movie, being like, ah, dang, that was cool.
You got that. You've got the relatively simple U-turn onto the expressway, which I really like that. My personal favorite moment is when they're on the highway, and he does the Mario Kart drift to hit the spikes with the side of his tires and sends the spikes flipping 90 degrees and then hits the cop car with it. You don't catch what's going on 100% at first. He's got a flat tire. No, he doesn't, because he hit it with the side of his tires, not the wheel, and sent them into the cops. It's such a good, smart little moment that and again, they never call any of this out. They never say, look at what he did here. They never do a crash zoom on the side of the tire hitting the spikes and flipping them around. And they just show you what he did.
They don't have John Hamm being like, whoa, he just kicked that thing back at the cops. It's just like, you don't need the like, whoa, that just happened moment. It's cool. Just let it be cool.
Yeah.
Really
good. And then the fact that he ends the chase with the shell game is chef's kiss way to end it, with like 3 red cars, and he just like waits until they're under a bridge and then shifts them, the one to the left to the middle.
Yeah, because I was, when they did the 3 cars, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like that's a pretty fun almost coincidence that he's taking advantage of. And then when he sort of bumps the one car over to the other lane, I was like, all right, you somehow managed to make it better. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then, we go from the car chase to the coffee scene where he gets the coffee for the first time.
I have a lot to say about this scene.
Go ahead.
I think on paper, this sounds really dumb. And I think if someone
100%.
explains it to you, the lyrics are on it's the graffiti on the wall. Whoa. It sounds super stupid. It's pretty cool. It's one of those things where, like, if this was in a music video in the 90s, it probably would have been one of the coolest. Like, one of my favorite music videos of all time is Chemical Brothers, the one with the train. I'll have to look it up here in a minute.
Is that the one where the beats of the music keep hitting with the things of the going past the train?
Things, going past the scenery by the train. And it's one of those things where you're watching it, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why is this happening? And then you put it together and you're like, that's incredibly cool. Star Guitar, thank you. One of the coolest videos of all time.
Yeah. And it's just a train. It's literally just a train
with some poles in the background. Like, but it's one of those little things of just like, this is it's the music. And like, it manages to be pretty cool. But I think on top of it, I like the juxtaposition here between Baby in the intro being one of the best drivers on the planet, and Baby in this scene being the
also
clumsiest.
Stone cold while he's driving.
Yep.
Like, while he's driving, he's stone cold.
Right.
Straight face the whole time.
And Baby in this scene, the very next scene, cannot manage to keep his 2 feet under him at any part of this.
So something occurred to me watching it this time, and I made a note here. This makes perfect sense when you consider the context of he's just pulled off a really good heist.
Yeah.
He's amped on adrenaline.
Right.
And the first thing he does every time he goes back to drop off the loot is he goes and gets the coffee. So he's listening to his upbeat music because he's happy, he's done a good job. We'll get to the counterpoint of this sequence later. He's done a good job. He's all hopped up on adrenaline. He's full of that buzz of like that game-winning feeling, and he's going to go get the coffee. So it makes sense that he's got his upbeat music in, and he's so full of that thing. Like, if you've ever, I don't know if for everybody listening, if you've ever had one of those moments where you just get adrenaline dumped into your system,
the sunshine is glowing out of your skin.
Yeah, it does something to you, like, chemically. Obviously, it's designed to, where you just, it's that real thing where it's like, oh, I could go run a marathon right now. I could.
I'm going to go fight a pantheon of gods.
It's that kind of feeling. And it makes sense that, like, he's just had this great heist. He's full of adrenaline. Now he's going to go get the coffee. So, of course, he's doing, like, a little dancing thing down the thing. And then on his way back, it feels like he's a little bit calmer. He's coming down from it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's when he starts, like, also that's when he starts noticing the cops more. That's when he starts paying attention to that stuff. And it didn't occur to me that, oh, this makes sense. Like, he's doing this because he's so full of that go-go juice that he's burning it all up on the way there. And then on the way back is like this slight downswing from it. He's still happy and you know, moving pretty good, but he's not the same way he was when he walks out the building, which chef's kiss to the choice of the trumpet sequence, by the way, when the trumpet kicks into the music and he's outside of a trumpet shop. And he stops at just the right angle to play the trumpet from the camera's perspective.
It's the perfect Edgar Wright stuff. Like, this is the stuff he does the best, like you said, without calling it out. But we also see Baby, his like almost fanatic devotion to keeping the music going, where he's ordering he's ordering the coffee. And he doesn't even take...
He takes off his one headphone and he says, in time with the music. As it's going. Like... So, Boston.
Yeah.
I have to ask right here. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Do you listen to this on a big sound system?
I did.
If you watch it with headphones on, when Baby takes a headphone out, the music only plays through the headphone
Oh
that
my
he has
god.
in.
I love you,
Edgar
Edgar
Wright
Wright.
is a genius.
So good. But I like that you see his devotion to having the music going all the time, because he doesn't even take it out while he's talking to the barista, even though barista's giving him some attitude. Like, he, as soon as he can, he puts the other headphone back in. Like, he has it constantly running. And I
B-A-B-Y baby.
that's right. His accent in some of this is certainly a choice. Um, um, but yeah, I liked these two kind of
It's a
complementary
perfect
scenes back
introduction
to
to
back.
Baby.
Right. And then you get him going back to HQ essentially, and kind of getting beaten down, unfortunately, with the repetition of the rword.org, which is kind of a bummer. Um,
I will say though,
mhm.
I like the fact that it's John Barenthal who is a bit of an a-hole in
Yeah,
this.
he plays that character really well.
Yes. And again, it's the alleged wrong'un Kevin Spacey who corrects him on this. But I like the fact that he's like, that word means slow.
Right.
Was he slow?
That's right.
And the
Right.
answer
And
is
everyone's
no.
like, no, he wasn't. um,
It's really
I
good.
You also
Um,
get introduced here to him recording things.
we don't get that until a little bit, until he comes back home.
Right, because we found out. I don't think we see him recording during this, but I think when
We
he
get the
gets
was he slow? Was he
right,
slow?
and I think
Was he
when he
slow?
gets home, then we
That's
see
when he does
him.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
he has the recording, but I think
I love I love John Barenthal in this.
yeah, I
He's
wanted to talk
literally
about
in the
him
movie
first.
for 5 minutes.
He's just like he has that
A-hole. He's an
charisma,
a-hole.
but he has like that charisma in that face and like that ruggedness of like you can just see him turn it on and just be like, this, you shouldn't trust this dude. Like, you obviously shouldn't be trusting someone else in the movie a little bit from now, but like you look at
I
him and you're like,
I
yay,
also
he's a criminal.
I love the fact that clearly Buddy and Darling have worked with Baby before,
Right.
because this is clearly the first time Barenthal's character has, because he's like, why is he called Baby? And Buddy's
Right.
like, well, we're still waiting on his first words. That's why he's called Baby.
Which is it's so good.
It's so I love the way all of the different desperate criminals interact with each other in this and the different heists here. Like, you can tell Buddy and Darling just don't care. They clearly like Baby.
Right.
And you get that straight away from this scene. Because when Barenthal walks up to him, takes his sunglasses, like, "Are you a mute? Like, what are you listening to?" And he's like, "Music." And Buddy and Darling just laugh in the background. It's really, really funny.
And then, of course, Baby immediately just pulls out another pair of sunglasses and puts them on. I was just like, that's really... Like, he doesn't care. He took them, whatever. I got another pair.
Yeah, and then he slaps them off his face, and then while he's talking, he's got his back to him again, he pulls out a third set of sunglasses and puts them on.
It's so good, because, like, he doesn't care about any of that. He has, like, 9 different iPods. He clearly has a number of sunglasses. He just doesn't care.
I did not put this together until I was reading the trivia behind this. He has been boosting cars since he could see over the steering wheel.
Right.
If you steal a car, what is the 2 most frequent things that you are going to get inside of a car?
It's probably going to be an iPod.
Sunglasses and an iPod.
That's true.
So he has so many iPods because that's literally the things he keeps when he steals the car is, oh, there's an iPod full of music. I like music. I'm going to see what's on this
Yoink,
one.
Yoink. Yeah.
I didn't put that together at all. I never put that together until I was reading an interview. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That's why he's got the pink and glittery one. That's why he's got this other one and this other one. Like it all makes perfect sense.
It makes sense for his character too, because he doesn't want the music to stop playing. So he needs to have a bunch charging while he's listening to one, and then he's kind of just keep trading them in and out. That's really good. I really like John Barenthal's character here. I really like John Hamm's character. And then who plays
Yes.
Darling? Is that Asa Gonzalez? Um,
Yes.
both of them, I think John Hamm is
It's
always good. Like I haven't seen him in anything where I'm like, boy, that dude's just a bad actor. Um, he's
his performance, like, okay, final thing for John Bernthal, he's
yeah,
charismatic, he's dark, he's great. I love the fact that his final line is, if you don't see me, if I don't see you again, I'm probably dead. And he
uh-huh.
walks out the screen, never to be seen again.
Yep.
The chemistry between Buddy and Darling is palpable, like at
Mm-hmm.
all points. Like you
Yep.
never feel like that's not a believable relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
you also, I think both of those performers do such a great job of just being that bubbly, get along well with baby on the surface level,
Mm-hmm.
and right underneath that is the I'm a stabber fool for looking at me wrong kind
Exactly.
of
Or like
violence.
you
Like,
if you're gonna mess up with the plan, I'm going to shoot you and drive out of here myself. Like
mhm,
you might be really great and you might be the best, but I'm gonna get out of here with all the money. So
yeah.
don't get in the way. Um, yeah, John Hamm is great. We'll keep talking about him as we go. I was a little bit bummed by Spacey's performance because I feel like Doc's character is that kind of straightforward, no nonsense. There's he's going to step on your back to get to where he needs to go, and he has
Mhm.
fingers and everything. But I just wish, like, Spacey was a good actor. I feel like it was a little bit too like restrained or muted or something. I kind of wish there was something else to it. I can't put my finger on it.
I think the thing I struggled with his performance in this was he plays it very one note, where everything he is
Yeah,
saying is light and bubbly. Like baby gets full shares, same as everybody else.
that's right.
This is the facts. This is the X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
By the way, I'm gonna break your legs and kill your family. Like he
Right.
plays it all in that same tonality. I think it has the sinister darkness behind it,
Hmm.
but I think if you're gonna deliver on it, either you need to deliver it so much more bubbly, like so much more
Yeah.
upbeat, or you need when you're delivering the "I'm gonna break your legs and kill your family" part, that needs to go significantly darker.
Yeah.
Like I feel
That's
like that
true.
was my issue with his performance here was he's that character who, as long as you're on his good side, he is fine.
Hmm.
But then he's the absent dad figure who has real dark moments, and it's
Yeah.
like I get it, but kind of I know you could have delivered the threatening lines more threateningly.
And I wonder how much of that maybe was a natural reaction to the police chief from Hot Fuzz, who's delivering all of his lines in this kind of over the top, friendly, bombastic, bubbly way, even when the lines get dark. I wonder how much of that was kind of a natural reaction to
Yes,
that, of like, we can't go back to the well. You can't do that
and
character again. Let's do something different.
yes, and they got Bill Nye to deliver those lines too in a very bubbly way. But
That's
Bill
right.
Nye also in Hot Fuzz delivers them in a very bubbly way, and then does that little with his nose.
He's so good. Oh man. Um anyways, so I I think a lot of the stuff we see here with the guy that baby is taking care of
Joe.
is interesting.
Yeah,
Um
his foster dad, you later learn in the movie, is his foster dad called
right.
Joe, who
Yeah.
is disabled, deaf, and mute.
I
Um,
I think this
he's a deaf actor as well, by the way.
oh
Legitimately,
nice.
this
I didn't
character
know
is
that.
deaf. And Ansel, who plays Baby, had to learn sign language.
Oh, that's cool. I think this paid off in a much better way than I was expecting it to by the end of the film. But a lot of it at the beginning, I was like rolling my eyes a little bit of like, of course, this dude is like with a deaf dude and there's sign language. Like, he doesn't want to talk. Okay. Like, it's a little too on the nose, but I think by the time you get past the like damsel in distress stuff at the end of the movie, and you get to the final scene with Joe, I think that stuff pays off
To the
really,
Edges
really well.
is one of the
To the
best
Edges is
deliveries.
so good. Yeah.
It's such a good delivery of a line.
Yeah.
And it's a callback because that's what happens at the very start of the movie.
Right.
He's like, "You hungry? You want a sandwich? What are you making? Peanut butter and jelly to the edges.
Right.
Make sure you spread it to the edges."
Sorry,
I know. No, you're okay. I love their dynamic.
For anyone listening, I'm just sending the NIMP text saying like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna be late today."
Yes.
Their dynamic is really good.
It's really good. Like, I like the fact that he clearly knows what he does, but they don't talk about it. It's like,
but he's still gently sort of being like, "Look, man, like you're a good kid, you're smart. You don't need to do this to make the money. Like you could go make the money driving pizzas or whatever." Wink.
Which is one of my favorite like little montage moments later in the movie.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. I do like the fact that we learn straight away one more job and baby is done.
Yep.
And this is where we get the recording part of baby making remixes based on.
He's making the worst music. The dude who loves music so much is making the worst beats and the worst music. It's
while
so good.
Recording a criminal conspiracy.
A whole. I hadn't thought about the thing he takes where he has all the cassette holder. I hadn't thought about one of those cassette holders in probably 30 years. And he has one of those full of all of the remixes, the criminal conspiracy remixes he's done, and then the Golden Mom tape right in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious.
Yeah. And the songs are so bad.
They're
so good.
They're rough, we'll say. They are very rough. Again, he's recording a criminal conspiracy. Just keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
And then we meet Jonathan. I mean, Deborah.
Yes. I think she does a really great job.
This is so awkward, but so wholesome at the same time.
It feels pretty natural. Like, it feels... Their relationship, I think, feels pretty good, but their meet-cute, I think, feels weird and charming in the way that might happen. Like, of course, everyone who starts at a new... retail place doesn't have a name tag that has your name on it. You haven't been there 30 days. We're not going to spend the money to even print up a new label to slap on there. Like, you're going to be Jonathan. He left. Don't ask about it.
I love the cut as well, where like he records her walking to the back, singing the B.A.B.O.I. Baby song, and literally as the door shuts on her, taking her coat off after she's gone around the corner. It's like, "Can I help you?" And she's standing right in front of him at the table, and it's just like, that felt like a Shaun of the Dead cut, where it's just like the door's only just closed, and she's standing on, having gone around the thing to stand right next to him.
That's really good.
I love their conversations. It's very, very chill. Very, like I said, it's very awkward, but very natural in the way that it's awkward. I wouldn't use the term cringe, but it's pushing against it a little bit. Like, it's getting close to it.
It feels like it feels pretty authentic, I would say, especially with him. I really like, I don't know if it's in this scene or the next scene with her, where he's trying to impress her with like his musical knowledge about people's names, songs about people's names. It goes T-Rex Trex. She's just like, "Do you mean T-Rex?" And he's like, yes, I sure, yep, I want to impress you, so yes, sure
That's
do.
The one I don't. It's that classic thing of reading a word over and over and over again, never saying it out loud.
Yeah, having a reader's vocabulary. Yeah.
And then when you hear someone say it out loud, you're like, "What was that word?" And then they spell it, you're like, "Wait, I thought it was pronounced X,
That's
Y,
right.
and Z."
Yeah.
Segue is
talking
a
about
prime
T-Rex.
example of that.
Yeah.
A segue.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, heist number 2.
Heist number 2 with bats.
AKA?
Jamie Foxx.
Yup.
Who, I don't know
Is
the last thing I've seen Jamie Foxx in, but he does a pretty good job in this
he's
movie.
crazy.
Yeah, of just like having
Bats
this
is insane.
like I like how Jamie Foxx plays his character of this like barely restrained open violence of just like at any moment he's going to shoot each and every one of us and he's not going to think twice about it or feel badly about it.
A prime example when he goes to get gum from the gas station.
That's right.
And kills an attendant just because.
Also, like, I love that scene of him just like, what are you expecting me to pay for gum? Just drive. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
What, you want me to do? Buy it for you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta pay for this gum.
But yeah, like Jamie Foxx asks about Baby too, and that's when we get Baby's backstory. The spirit of '85.
Mm-hmm. I really like the cut on this, the mom and dad fighting in the front seat, and Baby in the back seat, and just running right, like driving right into that truck, and it cutting right there each and every time. I think that's a really great.
It also really explains Baby's scarred face.
Yep.
Because you get glass in the face from it.
And they never again,
call it out.
Never call it out. But you're always sort of like, is that this dude's Ansel's scar that they're just leaving, or is this some story thing?
I think that's great. I love the fact that like Doc's basically like while he's drawing the plan on the chalkboard, he's running down Baby's story. It's like, yeah, the one who led the cops on like a 6-hour chase around the highway with like no headlights, brake lights cut, everything else.
Right.
Yeah, that was Baby.
Yeah.
Also,
that's this guy.
He's been boosting cars since he could see over the dashboard. Also, he stole a car from me.
Yeah. That's why
I let
he's
him
on
do
the crew.
I let him do it. He didn't know the value of the stuff that was in the trunk, and when he ditched the car, I found him and made sure he knew exactly what the value that was in the trunk was.
Yep.
And it's like, that's why he owes him. That's why he's paying him off. That's why he's doing the jobs. And I like the fact that you could tell Baby's been counting this down. Like, he doesn't want to do this anymore. Or at least he thinks he doesn't want to do it anymore. And like the fact that this is his quote unquote last job is great. The silent plan is fantastic here. Yeah. And how much Baby playing the piano on the tabletop really annoys Bats.
Yeah, he's just pissed off about Baby in general. Like everything 100%. That dude is doing is pissing him off. And then of course Baby once again shows like, no, he's been paying attention to the entire thing. Here's the entire plan in a quick nutshell. Do you have questions?
Yeah, and he literally looks at Bats and is like, questions? When he wraps it up, and it's like, no, Baby's got it. I have to ask about the Michael Myers mask.
Oh my god, this is one of the best jokes in the movie. Him just being like, that is Michael Myers. He's just like,
it is a Halloween mask.
Yeah, and he's like, no, from Halloween. It is a Halloween mask. Like, that's the back and forth of like, okay, you could have just put them in the Mike Myers mask, and that would have been funny enough. But for you to like double and triple down on this ever increasingly frustrating misunderstanding is just, it's so good.
So I think originally it was supposed to be the Mike Myers mask, and then they got an Austin Powers mask, and then Edgar Wright ran it by actual Mike Myers.
Oh wow, okay.
And asked him if it was okay to do this, and Mike Myers loved it. It was like, knock yourself out.
That's so great, because you could see the guy that picked out the mask is clearly the not the smartest person. So like the difference between Michael Myers and Mike Myers.
That's the hate guy, right? With the tat.
I think so. Yeah.
Why does it say hat on your neck? It used to say hate, but I covered the E to improve my employment prospects.
Yeah.
Everybody loves hats.
His confusion between Michael Myers and Mike Myers is genuinely really good. That's great. This is probably the heist that I don't like. Um, I think the contrivance to get the heist off screen isn't super interesting. Where he kind of like drives the truck forward a little bit during the music and then drives it back. I don't think that's like the most interesting way to solve that problem. Um, and I don't like that the monkey wrench in this turns out to be a quote unquote good guy with a gun. Um,
Uh-huh.
that is 7 years later, maybe a
Uh,
little
a little
not,
bit close to the bone, you think?
yeah,
A little bit?
little bit not great. That's not the movie's fault, but it felt a little bit like something about it kind of felt a little bit off to me. But
Uh-huh.
there needs to be some
Hiccups.
antagonist.
There needs to be issues.
Yeah, exactly. Like because it with how this heist was going, it didn't seem like the cops were going to be the antagonists in this one because it seemed like if the heist had gone well, the cops wouldn't even known. Like it would have just been something people found
Yeah,
hours later. Um,
I
so
will say
hmm,
it does involve one of the coolest stunts, which is driving around the
it's
like
very
angled
cool.
thing on the car parking area.
Well, it's nice to see them do, like we talked about a Subaru in the first heist. It's really neat to see them do this in a pickup for this trip, like which we never see as anything in any of these. Like not even the Fast and Furious movies have like I'm driving a pickup truck. It's going super fast.
Hmm.
So it's kind of neat to see pickup v pickup here, but not one of the best. I do do really like the one guy leaves his shotgun behind. And he's like, "Oh, I might have left my shotgun behind," and everybody is like, "Bro, are you you left a shotgun? What do you? Come
Um,
on."
he's also the only one who didn't have a strap on his shotgun, just for
Yeah,
the record.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting, and I like that the heist didn't go poorly because of Baby, but
No.
Baby got them out alive, but just barely because of how good he
Yes.
is at what he does. Um,
Yep. He is
so
a very good driver, as it turns out. And I
yeah,
love the counterpoint here of Bat giving him crap about, catching feelings.
hmm
Like the second you catch feelings is when you have issues,
oh
whatever the
yeah,
case.
because
Whatever.
Bats wanted to shoot the other driver over Baby's like
Did you make me?
across
Did you make me
Baby.
miss that shot? And he's like, no.
I like Baby's like no, what,
You're a
no,
great driver and a terrible liar.
but like the tension that's coming
Like this
off
is
of
this
Jamie
is
Foxx is
Jamie Foxx
so
in this
good.
entire movie. Like you said, he radiates that barely restrained violence
Yep.
at every moment, and the fact that like you don't know he's killed the gas station attendant. You know
Right.
what he's gonna do to the diner people in a little bit.
Right.
You're like, he just doesn't care. He just wants everybody dead. And the fact that he
Yep.
has that little speech before every heist that he does is kind of
That's
a
our money and they have it.
it's a
That speech.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a really nice touch, and like his performance in this is so good because like you said, everything, the threat that radiates from him at every moment is fantastic.
Yeah.
um and I like the fact that the counterpoint here with like Bat sends him to get the coffee, and the second coffee run is so much more muted,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because people got killed. The guard
Yep.
got killed.
Yep.
A Baby doesn't like that. Baby is a driver. Baby wants to do the driving aspect
Yep.
of it. Like, he is not a wanton criminal. He is a getaway driver. He doesn't
Well,
care about the rest of the stuff.
well, and then for him to come back and the one guy to be missing, and everyone's like, "Don't worry about him. Don't even ask."
Mm-hmm.
And then he's dead in the back of the trunk in the parking garage. Like,
Yep.
Baby sort of realizes that when these things go wrong, they go really wrong. At the same time that Doc is like, "You're done. Like
Yep.
that's you have paid off your debt. You're free."
Like, you're done and we're through is a very nice play on words
Mm-hmm.
in both of these things.
Yep.
It's like, there you go, you're done. And Baby's like, I'm done. He's like, yes, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call you.
Yep.
And like the previous conversation was like, well, one more job, right? He's like, yep, one more job, and we're done. We're all settled.
Yep.
One more, and we're done. Yes. And then when he calls it back, he's like, you didn't think that meant we're through, right?
Right.
Like, just because we're done, it doesn't mean we're through.
I really like too that when they're at the like, there's some stuff between Baby and what is her name?
Deborah,
Deborah. Thank you.
Debra, Trex.
Trex, that's right. Like their date is going well. They're talking about getting out of here, blowing this popsicle stand, etc.
Yeah, because Baby got rid of the car and played easy like a Sunday morning while he got
right.
rid of all of his stuff.
Yep.
Those
And,
brand new driving gloves gone.
And he started a brand new job delivering pizzas in the most Baby way possible, which is really good.
So good. It's so good. He walks in, he gets again, it's the Edgar Wright montage.
Yeah.
Or it's like, wouldn't it be, the Joe explaining to him, like, wouldn't it be great to bring joy to people's life with your driving instead of causing pain?
Mm-hmm.
And Baby's like, by what? Delivering pizza? And Joe's like, yes.
Yeah, but it's a great idea.
Walking in. Yep. It's a really quick like montage of him walking in, walking out in the uniform, getting in the car spins its wheels like it's about to go on a race. It's a doorbell getting pressed, and a dude going, whoa, that was fast. Yeah. He's like, I know.
It's so good. Man. But I do like that, you know, his life seems like it's finally settling down. He and Deborah go out for kind of a fancy dinner, and then of course Doc is
the dinner place that Buddy and Darling were talking about at the end of the first heist.
Ah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. But they're kind of having like a fancy date dinner, and then Doc, of course, is off in the background, and then
don't worry, sir, someone's got your bill.
Yeah, and he's
that gentleman right over there.
I like that Baby's like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And that's where they have that conversation. He's like, what, you just thought you could just deliver pizzas for the rest of your life? And he's like, of course I'm keeping an eye on you. Like, what do you think? I'm just going to let you go? Like, what are you, stupid? Like,
this is, you've paid off your debt. Now you profit. This is where the fun begins.
That's right. And I like that Baby hadn't even thought about that being an option. He's just like, yeah, I got to be done with this before it goes sideways.
Yeah.
And this
leads us post office.
Yeah, this leads us into Baby doing a recon mission with like an 8-year-old. Yeah, the nephew that
he's playing a PSP, it looks like.
Yeah, which is really good. But his nephew also really good at casing a joint. Which is...
literally he's about to get served, and the nephew's like, psst, 10 cameras, 11 registers, 3 are open, 1 guard, not armed, 4 employees.
Yeah, Baby's like,
and he buys stamps.
That's right.
Like, he literally buys stamps, and the nephew's name is Sam, which is cute, with 2 M's in the subtitles, apparently. 2 M's. Yep. And then, like, when they're leaving and he's giving the rundown to Doc in the car, and in the back, and it's the kid holding
just holding up
the PSP. He's like, oh yeah, 4 employees.
That's right. I like that Doc notices it too, and he's like, fantastic work, Baby. It's just like, yeah, well, you know.
And then, like, Baby's like, oh yeah, and the cashier was nice, and the kid's like, yeah, you won't even need to use a gun on her, like, just shout real loud and she'll give you the big bills first.
Yep.
And Doc's like, ship off the old block. He's your nephew. He's not even your kid.
That's so good. But like, you can already see the problem with Baby catching feelings again of like, she was really like, do we have to rob the place? She was really nice to me. Like, she's just a really nice person. Which of course bites us later. I like that the crew gets back together for the actual heist, though.
It's a different crew. It's half of the crew from the first one, half of the crew from the second one, and Baby.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that when don't know if you caught this line. It's really, really good. When he's about to start running over the plan for the post office heist,
Mm-hmm.
when they're all around the table, he says, "I need 4 sets of eyes and 3 sets of ears." It's a
Yep.
really nice little
It's
line.
really
It's like,
good.
okay,
Yeah.
he knows baby's there. That's good.
Yep.
But we need, but we need new firepower, stuff that
Right.
can't be traced to us. Like,
This is a hell of a scene.
yeah, because this is where Bats kills the gas station attendant while getting gum and literally steals all of the boxes of gum
Right.
for whatever
Like,
reason.
it just takes the box of gum. Like,
And
oh,
we
God.
go and meet the butcher.
Yeah, who...
Hold on a minute. I'm looking something.
Okay.
It felt okay, so it wasn't beforehand. It felt like this particular scene was inspired by John Wick, specifically the sommelier scene from
Yeah,
John Wick.
it has that kind of thumbprint of an insider, an informant, a dealer that has been alive for long enough because they're good at their job and they know how to shut
And
their mouth.
they're very careful about what they say.
Yeah, and I like the thing that sets off Bats is the like stamp
Everything
on...
says APD.
Yeah, is like that's what sets him off, and he just... the deal was gonna go through. Everyone was gonna be fine.
I in particular like smoking pigs.
Right. He's the worst. It's so good. But like, you know, the deal seems to be going okay, and it seems like it's gonna go fine, and then Bats just lashes out and kills everybody, you know, almost at the expense of Baby's life. And I like when they're...
Oh, he also gets Darling shot, and he's been eyeing up
True.
Darling a fair bit during this.
Mhm.
He's been giving Darling the googly eyes.
Right. I do like that when they get back, Doc is like, "Yeah, man, the plan is off. You killed all
Bananas.
of those..." Yeah.
People say bananas.
Right.
I did not hear the word bananas.
Right.
And Matt is like, "Yeah, they were cops, dude." He's like, "Yeah, they were my cops, you idiots."
I love that line of like, "Yeah, they were my cops." Like, he even has the cops in his pocket. Like, he knows what the plan is. He's figured it out. Just follow the plan, you moron. And I like that Doc's answer is, "We're just calling it off. You're not gonna do the plan now. Like, you messed up. You killed all of my people. You're lucky I'm not gonna kill you. The plan is off." And they somehow...
I don't know why Baby doesn't call it at this point. Just say it's off.
Just
and
say
then
like, "Yep,
leave,
bye."
leave with Deborah and be done.
Right.
This is the one thing in this movie that I don't particularly like from Baby's perspective.
Right.
Is that he says, "Let's go ahead with the plan here." And I get it. It's because he's planning on sneaking out and everything like that. But your chance is right here to say, "No, we're done." And then start driving.
Yeah.
Just get in your car and start driving and don't look back.
Yeah.
We did skip over the gang at the diner scene here.
Excuse me.
Which is terrifyingly tense, we'll say.
Yeah. And I like that Bats figures it out immediately of like, "Oh, this seems to be a place that you like to go. Well, let's go. Let's go check it out. A place that you like. Oh, maybe I should kill this lady. Oh, you don't want me to. Interesting.
He also figures out Buddy, and he gives Buddy the, "Oh, you were some white-collar criminal. Like, you do crime to support a drug habit.
Right.
I do drugs to support my crime habit."
Right. We are very different.
And I love the fact that you get the speech from Darling here about how when Buddy sees red, he's kind of unstoppable. Like, he kind of just does not give up ever, which comes into play when he sees red later. Literally red.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, when they're in the car heading back, I think it is, and Darling is like, "Yeah, you should kill Bats."
Yeah.
Because I really liked it when you stabbed that other guy for looking at me funny, and you should kill Bats.
Yeah.
Should we really discuss this in front of Baby? Baby doesn't care. Baby's not going to say anything.
That's right.
Baby probably wants it more than most, based off how Bats has been acting towards him.
I do really like this scene where Baby's trying to escape, and both Bats
It's
and Buddy show
Buddy.
up, and
It's
I like
Buddy who's in front of him straight away. You expect it's Bats,
right, but
but it's
Buddy's like,
Buddy who's standing in front of
"Hey
him.
man, you hanging out in this car? What you up to?" And he gives
Uh-huh.
Baby a chance to lie to him, and I
Yeah.
like that the two of them know what each other is doing, um, and it's basically Buddy being like, "I get it, man. Like come on, if anybody's gonna understand, it's gonna be me. We got to do the job. Like
Yeah.
we got to do this. Also, Bats is crazy. I don't want him to hunt me down." And then I like Bats shows up and he's like, "Oh, we're just hanging out in the parking garage in a car, huh? What's that
Uh-huh.
about?"
Oh, by the way, what's this tape recorder?
Yep. And then that whole thing gets unveiled.
Mm-hmm.
And even I like that it even pisses off Doc. Like even Doc is like, "Cool, that's my last straw with this dude."
Yeah. I love the fact that the Buddy's like, come on, even the cops couldn't come up with such a astoundingly dumb excuse as to why there is a recording, why he's recording the meetings.
Yep. And I like that eventually Baby's like, this is my music. You just need to play it as my music. And they play it and the worst beats come out and they're like, all of them are like, "Okay, he's not lying, and these are terrible." Like
Uh-huh.
you're right. This would be a pretty bad excuse. Oh my god, these are the worst.
Yep.
Yeah. And
So yeah, they end up going off with the heist while Deborah is left sitting in the diner until like 4 in the morning by herself.
yeah, okay, I really like, you know that this heist is going to go sideways. It has
Yes.
to in this
Uh-huh.
movie. And I love
At this point, first time I watched it, I'm like, okay, so Baby's gonna sabotage this because if Doc views him as his good luck charm, Baby is gonna
he's going to
make this
get
go
out.
south.
Right.
So if he makes this go south, then Doc won't view him as his good luck charm anymore, and then that's how he can get out. Like that is the one excuse I have as to why Baby agrees to do the heist.
Right. Cuz he can just mess it up.
If he
See,
messes it up severely enough, then he's done. He's free and
right.
clear of everything.
The reason why I thought this was going to go south is because of all the false foreshadowing they do with the rain, where it's like there hasn't been any rain in the rest of this movie, and now we have this heist that's going to go sideways. Is Baby even a good driver in the rain, or is that going to be
Uh-huh.
the wrench that's going to get thrown into this? Which I think is great that
Also,
that's not the thing that messes up this heist. The rain
no.
doesn't even matter.
Also, speaking of which, the foreshadowing of speaking to the post office teller, can't be any rainbows without a little rain.
That's right.
The start of the heist is raining.
Yep.
End of the movie, there's a rainbow.
Yep. And I like that he tries to save the teller
To the
when
teller
she
by
sees
waving
him.
her off. He's
Yeah,
like,
like waving her off, and then she
uh-uh,
immediately
uh-uh.
goes and gets like a cop or security guard or something, and that's where things start to go really
Who
wrong.
immediately gets shot by bats.
Right, and like I like that. That's the thing that sets off Baby. It's just like you like not only did you kill somebody, you killed this nice person. Like she didn't do anything.
Oh, she survived.
Right, but like
It's the guard that got killed.
oh, that's right, right. But like
Because she is a part of the character testimony.
oh,
At
that's
the
right.
end.
Yeah, because I forgot about that. But like,
Move, baby. Move.
yeah,
Move.
he refuses to drive because Bats killed somebody. Because of course, Bats is going to kill somebody. And then like, I like that the whole rest of this movie is
Is it foot
just
chase?
this thing going wrong for like the next 30 minutes. Yeah, you have a foot chase. You have Bats getting impaled.
Yeah, he moved.
Yeah.
And that almost makes Buddy kill him.
Right. Like it. I love that the final chase in this movie is a foot chase and it isn't a car chase. I think that's really great. And so much of this foot chase is really good. Like you can tell that, as much as previous Edgar Wright movies have sort of made fun of foot chases in stuff like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, sort of respectively. I like that this one is really good, and them just trying to get out and get through as many things as possible.
What's
It's
the matter,
shot
boss?
really
I've
well
never
and it
taken a
feels
shortcut
good.
before.
That's right. Exactly. What's wrong, baby?
Ansel is very good at this. Like he is
Mm-hmm.
very like the way the camera just runs smoothly from like him jumping off an upper tier stuff across picnic tables
Yeah.
to another upper tier section. It's just like it doesn't even show you it's coming. It's just like, look, this is what's happening. You can see it. It will happen
Yeah.
as it go past.
He's
It
just
doesn't
running.
foreshadow it. It doesn't pan to the tables so you can
No.
see that he's going to jump across the tables like Mario. It
Yep.
just runs smoothly with baby in the side. Like it's a
Yeah.
great show, don't tell kind of thing.
Exactly.
Where it's like it's not telling you this stuff is coming. It's just going to show you what he's doing as he does it.
And
The
show it
fact that
to
he
you. It's
runs
cool as hell.
yeah, he runs into the shop, gets a disguise, and then the cover is immediately blown
Mm-hmm.
2 seconds later.
Right.
He doesn't even get out the shop by the time this cover is blown.
Right.
And like him going through the back exits, grabbing the screwdriver on the way, and like
Mm-hmm.
then he gets into a car that he can hijack by using the screwdriver.
Yep.
And immediately crashes into Buddy and Darling.
It's such a good shot because he makes it 3 seconds in that car and he rear ends into somebody and then it's Buddy and it's just like, oh my god. And Buddy is so pissed already of just like, baby, you messed this entire thing up.
Yep.
And
And
then
then Darling gets in the car, is like, this is your fault, you're gonna get us out of here.
Yep.
And Darling probably gets shot.
Yeah. And Buddy goes berserk. Like it's really
good music to the shots section here as well.
Yeah.
By the way,
because this is the Queen song they were talking about earlier, which is not.
It's not. I don't think it is. I think that song comes into effect in the police car later.
Oh yes. Yeah.
This is a different song, but it's really well choreographed. Everything is really well done.
Yeah.
And this is where Baby loses his music.
Yes.
The iPod gets like skittered away.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to try and grab it, and Buddy literally shoots the iPod away from him. So as he's running away, I don't know if you caught this, but as he's running, he puts his fingers to his throat.
Yes.
And then you could hear his pulse over the soundtrack.
Yep.
Before
really
he steals the car from the old lady, which is great because he steals the car. She hides behind this barricade, and you don't hear the car leaving. And then she like looks up, and it's just him in the driver's seat twiddling with the radio.
I really love this
like,
moment of him just being like, "There's nothing good on the radio anymore." Like that's really good.
And then he does the cool front spin and then hands the woman a purse and's like, I'm really sorry. By the way, I'm really sorry.
I love him apologizing to her and making sure she has her purse because that's the thing she's really upset about. I was like, that's got my purse in there. It's like, he'll give it to you. Don't worry about it.
He goes and rescues Joe.
Right.
Who I love. I don't know if you caught this. I love when he rescues Joe. He's waking him up. He's getting him ready to leave and everything like that. He's grabbing all of the money. And he signs to him, things are bad. And Joe's like, I'm not blind.
It's so good. Yeah, Joe's like, yeah, of course it is, man. I figured it out.
Yeah. And like, this is a really heartwarming moment when he like drops him off at like, I'm assuming it's a care home is where he's putting him.
Yeah.
Gives him a bunch of the money. And then records like a little message for everybody.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the I like TV, I like listening to music by feeling the vibrations.
Yep.
I like this, that, and the other. I love PB&J, and then he does the sign for to the edges. And then it's such a good little moment. It's a nice little pause.
Right.
In everything that's happening, the heist that's gone bad, and then the rescue / running away that's about to go bad. It's a nice little pause in that of this like wonderful heartwarming moment where it's like, yeah, the kid's parents died when he was young. He's been stealing cars for who knows how long. Who knows how many foster homes he bounced around until finally settling with Joe. And he probably only stayed with Joe because Joe understood that, yeah, you're a car thief and there's not a lot I can do about that. I can point you in the right direction. I can't make you go in the right direction.
Yeah, it's really good. And I like him too, eventually just getting Joe out of the way of just like you
Yeah.
you need to be safe at this point. This is even too much for me to keep you safe from.
Yeah, and like the helicopter comes by and is like, everyone stay indoors. There's a dangerous criminal about, and he signs good luck to the helicopter,
Mm-hmm.
which is a nice little touch too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the rest of the sequences here. Is this where they go back to
He
the car garage, the like parking garage?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is where they go to the diner and he picks up
Oh,
Deborah.
yep.
You get the again wonderfully tense scene of Buddy sitting
Yeah.
there at the
With the
diner.
gun.
Uh-huh.
Looking distraught.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's again wonderfully tense scene until Baby shoots him and then they run away again.
Yep.
This time he has Deborah.
Yep.
That's when they go to the car park or to the HQ because he calls him. He calls Doc and he's like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "It's Baby." He's like, "I need your help." And he's like, I said, who's this?"
Mm-hmm.
Like this line is dead.
After they steal that like neon lit car from the two guys.
Yes, they steal the Dodge Charger, I think it is.
Yeah. He's like, "Hey man, can I have my phone?" He's like,
"No."
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's right. He's like, "No," and just screeches off. It's like, yeah, that's
also
good.
I like the fact he's like, "Yeah, okay, are you loaded?" And he pulls out the gun. He's like, "Have you ever used it?" And the woman's like, "Oh, Deborah's like, literally 5 minutes ago."
Yeah, he just shot a dude. And he's like, "Okay, man, see you later. Take my car, whatever."
"Hey man, hey, you on the floor? Are you okay? Can you tell me where you've been shot?" He's like, "Yeah, right here. Pop, pop."
Pretty cheesy line, but I'll take it.
Yes, John his name is Ham. He has to do hammy things at some point or another.
That's right.
Yeah, this is they go to the HQ because he wants his cassette back, and he has a box full of the things.
And I think Doc still has the cassettes. He just wants his mom's tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I like the fact that we do get the Dodge sequence where he's driving the Dodge to the HQ with Deborah in the car. And when they pull up to the HQ, she's like, "Not a chauffeur." Noted.
Right. Yep. She's a smart one. She figured it out.
Yep. Buddy shows up along with some cops. Doc gets killed while killing cops and gets ran over by Buddy.
Probably the death scene in this movie that made me say out loud, "Oh God."
When he hits the ceiling.
Yeah, and then like gets run over again, and I'm like, "Oh God, okay." Woof. You sure? Yep, you did it.
I like this sequence. I think the problem is this sequence is not as good as the rest of the driving sequences. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, him going backwards up a multi-story car park in a Mercedes while getting chased by a cop car is pretty great.
It's very cool.
Especially because it shows him using like the backup camera as guidelines.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I think that's really solid. The sequence is fine. It's really good. Like, it's a good, not the best sequence in the movie where like there's this backwards and forwards, and Baby's just using like every single vehicle that he can get his hands on. Like he rams into him doing one thing, he abandons the Mercedes, he then uses the big SUV 4x4 thing to push him towards the edge.
It's like the thing you'd see in a lot of action movies where instead of reloading the gun, you're going to throw it away and pick up another one. It's like the car version of that. It's just like, all right, this car's done. I'm just going to hotwire another one. Let's keep going.
Yeah. And eventually Buddy gets Baby at gunpoint and takes away the thing that he loves the most.
It's such a surprising scene of just like, he's not even going to kill Baby. Because like that's not enough at this point. He needs to hurt Baby beforehand, and the answer to that is not shooting him, and it's not shooting Deborah, which you think is going to be the answer because that's the answer in every one of these movies. He's
going to do that because he says like you'll just have to watch instead because you can't hear her scream, which is a nice little touch.
Yeah,
but the fact that he literally just unloads next to his ears and is like, "There you go."
It's really good.
You have tinnitus, and now it's 10 times worse.
Yeah. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends up Deborah like tries to smack him. He drops the gun. Baby shoots him in the knee and he falls to his death on top of the cop car, which is just like cool, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that, whatever. But the fact that Baby like passes out essentially and then wakes up in a car,
Yeah, with Deborah driving him.
it's like,
Yeah.
where are we going? Away. We're
Yep.
just gonna drive. Um, it's really, really, it's a really cool touch. The mom's cassette is on in the car. It's
Yeah,
very
she's listening to
muffled.
it.
All of the sound is muffled
Yep.
throughout the entirety of his sequences from here. But then he puts his hand on the speaker in the
Yeah.
door, and it crystallizes and clears up. It's
Mm-hmm.
such a nice little touch.
Yeah.
And yeah, Baby, they get to a police barricade, and Baby gives up.
Yeah. He chose the Life is Strange 2 ending of I'm gonna give up.
Yep. He got the medium ending in Life
That's
is
right.
Strange too.
That's right. I do also really like that he just throws the keys away into the river that they're above. Like, it's not even like he's not even gonna let her take a chance to escape or try and save him or whatever. Like, he's gonna turn himself in. He's just done doing all of this.
Yeah, and we get the character witnesses in the court scene.
Yep.
Which it's literally it's everybody. It's her. It's the purse lady.
Yep.
It's the teller from the post office. It's Joe.
Yep.
And yeah, he gets 20.
Yeah.
I think so, but he gets 25 years and parole after 5.
Mm-hmm.
He gets. It shows a bunch of him being in prison. He gets letters and postcards from Deborah. Question.
Mm-hmm.
The movie ends with him in his head, at least. It's in black and white, like the previous fantasy scene that we have seen that we didn't mention at all.
Mm-hmm.
Of him walking out the prison. There is Deborah in a car, and
Right.
they have a kiss, and then the movie cuts to black. But as he's walking towards her, the film goes from black and white to color.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy or reality?
For me, I think this one's reality. I think it's like the
The color saturation is what made it for you.
yeah, to me it's like the actualization of the fantasy of this kind of dream he's had ever since he met Deborah, and he's had for however many years in prison. Like, I think that's the kind of the realization of, oh, this is the dream I've been having, and this is the reality of it. Personally.
Okay. I'm torn. On some days, I sit here and I think to myself, well, that's probably a fantasy.
Right.
And then other days I'm like, no, it's clearly reality because it went in color. So like, catch me on a good day, it's reality. Catch me on a bad day, and it's not.
It's a reflection of your worldview.
Yes, essentially. Yeah. I like this movie a lot. Boston.
I like this movie a lot. I mean, any Edgar Wright movie has a really high chance of being very good, but man, this movie is very good. It's one of those that I'm not bummed I didn't see it earlier, but I wish I had seen it early, because now we get to talk about it on the show and we get to celebrate Harlow's love of movies. But like, I wish that I had seen it earlier so I could have seen it a number of times between its release and now. Because it's so good.
And I feel a little bad, to be honest, because I think I feel bad for Edgar Wright. I genuinely do, because like Edgar Wright is one of those people who, if he puts his name on something as a director, I will happily go and see it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Boston.
Yeah.
In an alternate universe, there is an Edgar Wright directed Ant-Man movie for the MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was responsible for that movie being thought up.
Right. I can't even imagine how incredible a Paul Rudd Edgar Wright movie in general would
Oh,
be. I'm such a big
oh,
fan of Paul Rudd, and so like,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
Like, I feel bad because like it feels like he never gets the props he maybe not the props. He definitely gets the props he deserves. Like from people who've seen his movies, they love them.
hmm
I think the thing he doesn't get is the box office he
yeah,
deserves.
because he's like he. I think he gets the credit if you're not like cinema sins poisoned. I think you get the it gets the credit of like he's an incredible filmmaker. He has amazingly tight editing. Like you can tell he works very closely with the rest of the team, especially the editing team. He has incredible music choices. He has, the fantastic writing chops. Um, and I think his movies have a really long tail on them, but I think you're right.
Mhm.
Like, I think what is it?
The
Last
box
Night
office
in
is never what it should be. The Last Night in Soho
Yeah, I
is
think
the
that
one of the other
that
ones
did
I haven't
pretty
seen.
well. But I don't think it's. I don't think. I think also like he made this movie for cheap. This is a $34 million movie. Like a lot of
Oof,
other
like
movies coming
that's
out in 2017 would have had a zero on the end of that. Like,
yeah.
you
And
know.
also, if you look at the people who are in it, like how
hmm
much are they paying these people?
Right. I mean, I wonder how much at this point people would be like, I can take a smaller wage because I
I
want to be in an Edgar Wright movie.
yeah, it's the watch color. It's the I can't remember the name of him, but there's a couple of actors who are like, yeah, I'm gonna do a
Scorsese comes
big
calling. I'm gonna be in his movie. I don't care what it is.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a giant, huge, giant budget movie.
Right.
And then I'm just gonna do seven like indies.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is a prime
Right.
example.
The
Robert Pattinson
one for
is an
them, one
actor.
for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
He, one for them, six for me. Viggo
Exactly.
Mortensen probably falls under this list too, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, I'm sure. I wonder if his name has that kind of cachet where it's like, yeah, we'll we'll do it for Edgar and we'll do it at a much smaller thing.
Right.
But like, it feels like none of his stuff got the box office. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, maybe they got there
hmm
eventually.
Yeah.
But like Scott Pilgrim was after Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and that thing bombed.
Yeah, and I think these movies are really good, like home movie and streaming releases. Like that's where they really find their audience, and I
Mhm.
think it feels like a lot of studios still don't believe that can be viable. But I think that a lot of what Edgar Wright has done throughout his career, I think, proves, at least for him, of like, it's going to get in theaters, it's going to review well, people are going to see it, but it's really going to catch fire when it hits streaming and Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah, I
So
mean, apparently the gross for Baby Driver was 226 million, which
it's a good return.
it's a very good return. But the problem is we live in the 2020s and
Right.
2010s at this point, where if it's not exponential growth, it's not
Yeah.
growth enough. One
Yeah,
might
and a
say.
lot of times when movies are reported on, it's only box office sales and it's not the rest of the tail, like the
Yeah,
90% else that happens
because I know what
from that stuff.
that happened with Scott Pilgrim. Like Scott
Yep.
Pilgrim, like did not do great in the theaters, but the thing that happened with Scott Pilgrim was DVD sales.
Oh my god,
Like,
the DVD of that movie is so good with the pop-up video trivia track and like the 7 different listening to.
well, it's Edgar Wright, so he does like 19 commentary tracks.
There's
Like,
one commentary track where I think it was Chris Evans is like super hungover and like at some point in the movie just stops talking. It's so good. I think that's like
well, they
track 4.
they did a joke on the Shaun of the Dead because it
hmm
was Shaun of the Dead DVD came out, and like the first commentary track I listened to on that was Simon and Edgar.
Oh, nice.
Simon also did another one with the cast.
Mm.
Um, but Simon and Edgar came out and was like, yeah, our aim here is to have more commentary tracks than Lord of the Rings, which had like 9 commentary
It
tracks.
did, yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, let's get into ratings here real quick. On IMDb, we have this at 7.5 out of 10 with 621,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 92% tomato meter with 396 ratings, 86% audience score, and Letterboxd has this at a 3.7 out of 5, which all of that is pretty low. 3.7 out of 5. Come on.
Yeah, a 4.5, 9 out of 10 for me personally.
Yeah, easily. There's, like you said, there's all kind of like, there's a couple of little minor issues here and there, but you can't.
73. Like what?
Yeah, like you
Go
can't.
away.
You can't get much better than a movie like this. Just this incredibly tight film. It's so good. I want to watch it again right now.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Yeah,
I'm loving the trailer for it. It has basically only the first heist stunts in the trailer.
It's
on the background right now. And I have some potentially good news.
Okay.
There is a Stephen King adaptation that Edgar Wright is apparently in pre-production on now.
Go on.
Have you seen The Running Man?
No, but if Edgar Wright does The Running Man, that I cannot imagine a better combination of.
Apparently, he is working on The Running Man as a writer and a director.
I will go see that in the theaters. I hate going to
theater.
And
apparently,
I will go do it.
The only person who has been confirmed as a cast member is Glenn Powell. Do you know who Glenn Powell is, Boston?
The name rings a bell.
He's the a-hole from Top Gun Maverick. Oh, he's the Maverick wannabe from Top Gun Maverick.
That's really good. Oh man. All right. Here before we go, I wanted to mention again the kind of reason for this.
The reason for the season.
I'm trying to avoid saying that, but yes, the reason for the season is the unfortunate passing of our good friend Harlo. These were 3 of his favorite movies that we're watching here for the first time for at least one of us. Again, really sad to hear of his passing, and wanted to remind everybody, as we talked about in the beginning of the first episode, it can be hard to hear that someone you're friends with, or you've listened to, or you've talked to on Discord, or however you knew anybody that you have known and lost. If that news is difficult, as it's expected to be whenever you hear somebody passed, please reach out, talk to somebody, get some help. I don't care what anybody says. I want you to be here, and if that means that you need to talk to somebody to get help, that is never going to be a bad thing. I don't care what Twitter or the rest of the internet says. Don't let them make you feel bad for talking to anybody, getting whatever assistance, getting whatever help that you feel like you need or that you want to get. I want you to be here, and I think that's super important, and that's something that maybe we don't say enough. It's a good time for us to say, go talk to somebody if you feel like you need a little bit of help. That's okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for joining us for this celebration of Harlow's favorite movies, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.